Welcome to episode 70 of the RXP podcast, where three working professionals talk about the games, shows, and movies they love to enjoy in their free time. I'm your host today, Alex, and joining me as always are my great co-hosts, Tiffany.
Yo, yo, yo!
And Matt.
Yo, yo, yo.
Yo, 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 yo. That's a Bobobo reference for you anime fans out there, if you know that anime. Anyway, so for today's episode, we're going to be talking about an ongoing conflict. A conflict that a lot of us are involved in both directly and indirectly. And that's right. We're going to be talking about the war of subscription services. You know, things like your Amazon Prime, stuff like your Netflix, stuff like Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, you know, PlayStation Plus Premium now that's going to be coming out relatively soon. Even things like potentially Loot Crate, you know, Blue Apron, what have you. All of these subscription services that require you to pay a monthly fee, you know, these are all a la carte, right? You're not getting a bundle of these things. Like, you're going out and signing up for these things on a singular basis. And so for today's episode, we're going to be talking about these subscription services and kind of our thoughts on the rise of them, as well as what are the ones that we might participate in or avoid. But before we do, as always, we have to play our VGS, as in our variety game segment. And for those of you that don't care about this segment, just go in the timestamps in the description and skip ahead to the main conversation.
Give them a way out.
Well, you know, we're trying to give him that shortcut, right?
Yeah, we're all about choices here.
Exactly. Which might come up in the main topic later on. But with that, let's get into it. For today's VGS, Matt did this a couple weeks ago. So if you're an avid listener of the RXP podcast, you already know the game that we're going to be playing today. And that is 20 questions. So for those of you that don't know what 20 questions is, my co-hosts here are going to have the opportunity to ask me 20 yes or no questions in an attempt to discern the thing that I'm thinking of. Now, to, you know, kind of narrow it down and to also give some rules for my co-hosts here so they don't have to ask maybe some meandering questions. I am thinking of a game, so the thing I'm thinking of is a game. You have 19 questions that I will answer yes or no to, and you must, on the 20th or by the 20th question, ask what the game is. And in this case, too, I'm going to be a little bit more strict than Matt, so you guys have to be careful. You may only ask one game. So once you've asked a game, that's it. So if you ask it as your fifth guess and you get it wrong, you're done. We're ending it there. And so in this case, too, going back to our running totals, if you guys together, cooperation as always triumphs, can guess it, you both earn a point. And if you don't guess it by the 20th question, I earn a point. Everything clear?
Sounds good.
Clear as mud.
All right, let the questioning begin.
Tiffany, what do you want to do? What do you think? What will take it down a bunch?
What if we ask if it's only on a Nintendo system?
Like a Nintendo exclusive?
Yes.
Okay, go for it. Yeah.
Is this game a Nintendo exclusive?
No.
Okay, well now we're lost.
Now we're in the abyss.
Do we choose a year and ask about if it came out
Okay.
after?
Like 5 years ago? Like,
What about
has it released in the past 5 years? It's 2017.
Is that
it's
your
like the end of no, not yet. That's like the end of PS4 to current gen.
Can we do? Yeah, okay.
Was this game released 2017 or after?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
All right, so we got a lot of PlayStation exclusives. Should we just ask if this is exclusive?
Yeah. Should we ask in general, is it exclusive to a console?
Yeah. Do that.
Okay. Is this game exclusive to a console system?
No.
System.
No.
Oh.
Interesting. Okay, cool. So
Do we ask if it's on the big three? Do we ask if it's Nintendo? Oh, what? No, that's not gonna help.
Yeah.
Multi-platform since 2017. Do we think that this is thematic? Like,
What
do
do you
we
mean
think
by
there's a
that?
subscription model to this particular game?
Oh.
You know?
Like a battle pass, almost.
Maybe. Yeah.
Okay. Does this game have a battle pass?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that takes like most of the live service games out.
Okay.
So no Fortnite, no Fall Guys, no anything like that.
Do we ask if any of us have played this game?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's good. Alex?
Or do we ask if any of us have
Oh.
beat this game?
Maybe just play. Maybe play or beat.
I'm gonna ask to beat. Have any combination of the three of us rolled credits on this game?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So something we've played. Passed in 2017, multi-platform. Ooh,
You're at 5 questions so far.
it could be so much. Maybe we should talk about like the mechanics of the game.
Okay.
Like either about like the main character or do you shoot a gun in this game? What do you think?
I think that is a good question.
Do you shoot a gun in this game as your main weapon?
See, I don't want to qualify with main weapon.
Okay. Do you shoot a gun in this game?
So I'll expand on this. At points in the game, you do shoot a gun. Yes.
Okay. At points in
I
the
want to ask
game-
something subjective, like, would I consider the art style of this game cute? Like that, I kind of want to like ask.
But like,
But that's not.
you
gonna help.
use a gun.
Do we ask? Is it turn based? It's not something that's not exclusive. Do we ask even more? Do we say like, did it come out after 2020?
We could narrow it down. We've got plenty of.
Okay, I'm gonna ask. Did this game come out in 2020 or later?
No.
Okay.
Okay, so it's between
2018,
I don't-
2019. Okay.
Matt, that was such a time. I don't recall much of my life then.
Yeah. So you do shoot a gun at some point in these games.
In 2017, the Switch came out.
That's true. That's true, but it's not
So-
Switch exclusive. So
It's not exclusive, but like, was there a version on the Switch? Would that help you?
I
Would that
don't
help
know if that would help at all.
Okay, then I won't ask it.
How
How many questions do we have left?
You have asked 7 questions.
So like The Last of Us was, but it's not exclusive. Never mind. Right.
Oh yeah, he said no to it's not exclusive to a specific console. So it's not between 2017 and 2020, like 2019. It's not exclusive. During 2017 to 2019, I feel like I was only like playing my Switch.
Really.
Like, I don't know that I was playing much of the PlayStation 4. I mean, Spider-Man came out during that time, but that's exclusive, you know?
Right. And I
like,
don't think Spider-Man wielded a gun. You know.
that's true.
Unless
I
it's
forgot
the
about that
DLC,
part.
I just like do not remember.
Yeah, Matt, and you
So
didn't
I
even,
guess to help reframe this, I'll go over the questions you guys have
Yeah,
asked.
perfect.
Right,
I
to
don't know if
maybe
that's
give
gonna
you a frame of
help.
reference. So you first asked, was this Nintendo exclusive? And I said no. You then asked, was this released in 2017 or later? And I said yes. You then asked, is this console exclusive? And I said no. You then asked, does it have a battle pass? And I said no. You then asked, has any one of us rolled credits on it? And I said yes. You asked, do you shoot a gun in this? And I said, at points you do, yes. And then you asked, is it released in 2020 or later? And I said no.
I mean, I didn't need that recap.
That was good though. That was good. You know,
Was it? Did it enlighten
for the
you?
listeners, you know.
Matt, did it enlighten you? Because I don't know.
It's good to
Like-
give a little respite from having to, you know.
I think one of the questions you asked, me repeating it, hopefully keeps you on a path.
Honestly, Matt, do we ask if you rolled credits on this game? Because you're slowly going through a backlog of things, right? Like, and I, for the life of me, can't even remember.
I'm wondering if it's Alex, but
I mean, if it's
because he
Alex,
plays
we're
a
a
lot of
lost
games.
cause because
Exactly.
he plays a lot
It's
of
true.
games.
It's true. Did I run credits on this game?
I believe so, yes.
I believe
Okay.
so.
So it's
All
not
right.
Persona 5
Right.
because that came out then.
Mm-hmm.
So what have you been playing?
Well, between 2017 and
A multi-platform
Ooh,
game.
No battle pass.
No battle pass.
Multi-platform. But you're not
I
really
guess yeah,
rolling
because you had Xbox during.
because
that
I was in the
time. But I mean,
Xbox
like,
atmosphere. You know what I mean?
But you're going through some PlayStation games, you know.
I was.
Like you're.
But
rolling
most of them
through
have been exclusives. I feel like that I've played.
Okay.
Okay.
Is it Cuphead out?
Because
Like
2017 to
think it's-
2020.
Did Cuphead come out then, Matt?
Oh, you know what? What about something like Hades? You do get a gun in that game. The roll
That
credits.
didn't come out in 2017.
When did it come out? 2017, between 2017 and 2020, right?
It came out like in 2020.
Was it 2020?
Yeah. Matt,
Flat
look
circle.
at me.
Yeah.
Look at me. When
Yeah.
did Cuphead come out?
2018, I believe.
Do you shoot a gun? Have you used a gun in Cuphead?
You like shoot with your fingers.
There's
little
no
bit.
guns. There's no guns.
I don't think there's guns. There's like finger guns, if that counts. You're like, we can ask something that will, we can ask
What about
something that will
animations?
eliminate
Something about
Cuphead.
is
Like,
there anything
this,
about animation style?
Is this animated like a 50s cartoon, basically?
No, that's too specific, Matt.
Well, then we know that's like a way to ask if it's Cuphead without asking if it's Cuphead, because we don't want to lose. Kingdom Hearts 3? When did Kingdom Hearts 3 come out? Was that well before?
Okay, 2018. 2018.
Is there a gun in Kingdom Hearts 3?
See, that's debatable.
I can't remember if there's a gun or not.
I feel like I did use a gun at some point.
Okay.
No, I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't think. No, it's always a Keyblade. Did we ever have a Keyblade gun? I don't remember that.
Yeah, I don't remember either. Okay, so... Okay, what do you want to ask? We've got plenty of questions.
Do we though?
Yeah.
Yeah, you've asked 8 questions.
Yeah, we got
Have
12
I
questions.
played this
11
game,
more
Alex?
questions.
Have I played this game?
Yes.
Lord, I've played it. Matt's
So
potentially.
you're definitely playing it either on PlayStation or Switch.
Yes.
Like, is there anything
multi-plat-
multi-platform that you've played on Switch? Is that a yes?
Not that came out between 2017 and 2020. I was
Okay.
only really buying first party stuff then.
Okay.
You know, like, and I was like, Fire Emblem's not multi-platform. Something that I've Overcooked. No, there's no gun.
There's no gun.
Oh, is there technically a gun?
Is there?
Flamethrower. No, there's.
Yeah, that would be
flamethrowers and stuff.
incredible. Okay. 2017 to... So before 2020. We asked 2020 or after.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Do you want to ask
no,
about like...
Slave Spire. That
Let's
doesn't have
just
guns.
ask if like... Well, if the main character is male or female,
Would that help us?
It would if it was female, probably, but because I feel like there's less. We can
God
ask
of
about
War came out. Does God of War use a gun? Oh no, that's not a computer. PC is not a platform, is it?
Well, we
consider
asked
PC a platform?
console exclusive, so it could be on PC. It doesn't mean it's not on PC, but it's not console exclusive, is what we asked.
Okay.
What do you want to ask? Benny. You want to ask about Square Enix? If it's a Square Enix game?
Okay. Is it a Square Enix game?
Yes.
Ooh, okay. So, think about Kingdom Hearts 3. Does it have
A gun?
a gun?
I feel like
Because also Final Fantasy VII
Maybe.
Remake, is that on PC?
that didn't come out.
Okay.
That came out.
Okay,
like,
that's true.
That came out like in 2020, didn't it? Like, wasn't it Alex's 2020 Game of the Year?
Are there Disney properties in this game?
Yes.
Okay.
Ooh, okay.
We
So there's when did Chain of Memory come out? Did that come
came out way back when. No, that was like OG. The gets
Or
Game
not?
Boy
Sorry, not
Advance
Chain of
game.
Memory. What's the rhythm game? When did the rhythm game come out?
Melody of Memory came out in like 2021.
Okay.
But he also said that he thinks you completed it. Like you wrote
Oh yeah,
credits on
that's
it.
true. Because I
So
I've
it
definitely
has to
not
be
played
Kingdom
the
Hearts
Melody
3.
one.
It has to be. But why would this be in connection with this game? Like, why is he doing this?
You never
like,
know. Disney
for the topic
Plus.
of the game.
It could be.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we can't guess until 20. So let's just like
No,
really
we can
dial
guess
it
early.
down.
No, we can really.
Oh no, you can guess early
Let's
if you
let's
want
dial
to.
it down
But
though.
you
Let's
better
dial it
be
down.
confident.
Wait a second. Matt, where were you when that game came out? We were friends, right?
Kingdom Hearts 3?
Yeah, we. It was 2019 then. I think
That's going in the stinger.
Yeah.
were we friends? Because yeah, I think so. It was 2019. It came out
I don't remember.
January 20. It was January 2019.
January 2019? Okay.
Because you knew that I. that I had a day off. I think it's this game.
Okay, is there a frozen world in this game?
Could you clarify the question?
Is there a level based on the Disney game Frozen?
Disney game Frozen, Disney movie
Disney
Frozen.
movie Frozen.
Yes.
Okay.
It's gotta be, right?
Yeah, no, it is. Is this game Kingdom Hearts 3?
That is correct. The game is Kingdom Hearts 3.
It's so stressful only getting one shot at it.
I did roll credits on that game, so I'm in the credits club.
Oh man.
So on the 13th question, you got it. You guessed correctly, Kingdom Hearts 3.
We could have done it without the Frozen, but we just need to make
I
sure.
wanted assurances.
Okay.
Honestly, I was surprised you guys didn't ask like genre
Yeah.
or I guess what I asked previously, like just licensed properties in general. You did get there after you already asked about Square Enix because you asked Disney. But I felt like genre or maybe licensed things would have put you on the right track. Though I think asking the 2-year questions really helped you.
Yeah.
Oh,
'Cause
Hundo.
narrowing it from 2017 and then asking about 2020, that really shortened the window. Otherwise, there could have been a lot of things if you were still considering 2020 onward, because obviously Avengers is in the mix.
Yeah.
And Guardians of the Galaxy. So
I mean,
who
I wanted to
knows?
know if it was a pandemic game. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's why I chose 2020.
I mean, great guess, or great question, because that narrowed it out.
Yep.
So with that, Matt and Tiffany earn another point on the board. Looking at
Hell
the running
yeah.
total, that brings Tiffany to 5, tied with me at 5, and Matt in a close second, or I guess third technically, at 4.
Nice.
We were friends then.
We were friends then.
That won't be in the.
I'm glad. We just want to confirm.
All right, with that, VGS segment coming to a close. Let's shift focus to the main topic: streaming services, subscription services, any type of a la carte services. And in general, I just want to ask you guys, how do you feel about this transition, right? Obviously, when we were younger, most of our media content, was either traditionally going to the movie theater, the cinema, potentially a drive-in, if you do that sort of thing. And or it was just watching whatever came on the cable / syndicated television. So how does this shift and overall, I guess, transition to basically content coming out on services only? Like, how do you guys feel about this? Like, is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? Like, what is it to you?
I think it really depends what we're talking about or which subscription we're talking about. Like, I'll just mention Game Pass, and we can talk about it very briefly because I think it's obviously the best deal in gaming. It's something that I'll never get rid of. It's just something that, knowing that I have day one exclusives from Xbox immediately, as soon as there's nothing I have to do. It will just be available on my console. That, to me, is something that is pretty awesome. It's like a golden era of video games right now, of having Xbox Game Pass. In my mind, it's like, if I only had $15 to spend as a kid, like if I had like any sort of allowance or anything, or like mowing someone's lawn, $15 to play 100 games, or just as the bunch of like the slew of games that are on there, that would have been awesome. But instead, like back in the day, I would be saving up money to go look at the used games at EB Games and hoping something nice is there for like $20. And then I play that game to completion over and over again because I'd have to wait until I got my next $20 before I could go back and play another used game. So for me, the subscription services in the game sphere, amazing. I think the value is great, and I hope it doesn't go away. If it gets a little bit more expensive, I would almost understand it because it's just that good of a deal.
I think one of the best things about subscription services is the convenience factor. So I'm going to briefly kind of I'm going to hold off on talking about the TV streaming stuff, but let me talk about some other subscription models. So I actually just signed up for Kindle Unlimited through Amazon, which is essentially a reading subscription. So baseline cost of Kindle Unlimited is $10 a month, but I had like an Instagram ad basically targeted towards me because it knew how much book stuff I was looking into. It gave me a deal for 4 months of Kindle Unlimited for $4.99.
Nice.
And I was like, hell yeah, that is a deal. That's like $1.25 a month. Like, I can do that. And I can literally access hundreds of thousands of books for like at any moment's time. Now, in general, I'm all about the public library. Like growing up, I was all about going to the library, getting books, yada, yada. Now that we live in a digital sphere and I don't have to literally wait in a queue, because the library only has X number of books, right? They have like 4 copies of a book, they have 10 copies of a book, so if 10 people have checked it out, you have to wait in line. Kindle Unlimited, I can rent it immediately and I don't have to wait for nobody. Like, that's
unlimited copies available.
Exactly, because of the whole unlimited. So I think that's freaking amazing. Also, I briefly tried out the HelloFresh subscription service for cooking meals, and the convenience of the meal box showing up on my doorstep with the exact amount of ingredients that I need is like phenomenal, right? I also purchased that originally through a discount coupon or referral box, all that jazz. I've actually since canceled because I think I did about 4 boxes and then I was just like, no, this is getting the idea of like actually cooking so much really kind of threw me off a bit, because I got the 2-person, like essentially I got the 3 meals, 2 people serving box. So when I cooked the meal, it really was like 2 servings. And normally, when I cook, I try to get 3 to 4 like servings out of what I cook. Nothing more than that, because then it's too much. I'm not eating. I hate eating the same thing for like 18 meals. Anyway, regardless, I'm cooking. I'm only getting 2 meals out of it. I'm like, this is a lot. However, on the flip side, I loved having exactly what I needed. They gave me 3 potatoes. That's what the recipe were called for. You know what I mean? I don't have to buy a bag of potatoes and then be like, I need 3 potatoes for this recipe. What am I going to do with these 13 other potatoes, right? Like, I have to use them up in a sufficient time. So
I feel like you're talking about this as if you can't buy individual potatoes. You could.
Can you buy individual potatoes?
Yeah. Are you serious?
Well,
it's just more. It's just more expensive.
It's more expensive
when you buy like per pound.
What if I like?
It's not like Costco level
of potatoes. You know what, Matt? I'm just like, if I paid an extra 20 cents for like a bag of potatoes versus paying what I need, like, I don't know. I
feel what you're saying though, because going to the store, looking at a recipe and going to the store of like trying to remember every single thing I needed from it, and then missing like one item, and then thinking to yourself, like, is this one item worth it to go back out to the store? Or are we just going to see what it tastes like without it? Like, that happens to me all the time. So, like, yeah, the convenience of it is pretty amazing. I've only done it once, and it was only to get, like, free meals from, like, one of our coworkers gave, like, a free code. Never did it again because I'm like, no, it's cheap. I don't want to. I'm too cheap for that. Like, I don't want to do it. But the cool thing about it that I really like, my favorite part about it, was the recipe cards, because it almost kind of teaches you like different techniques of how to cook.
Yeah.
Like, very basic, but it was kind of cool. I liked it. I liked that part of it.
Did you keep the recipe card? Like, I mean, did you like the recipe enough to maybe keep the ones that you liked?
I remember keeping it. I can't tell you where it's at.
Got it.
But maybe I'll find it if I ever move.
Okay. That's fair.
A fun thing I want to point out that each of you both pointed out individually that I think is, and it's something that I agree with in regards to subscriptions, is that, Matt pointed out convenience, right? The main convenience factor in terms of being able to access such a broad catalog of whatever is available in the subscription service, in this case Game Pass, and all, from the comfort of your own home, and being able to kind of play whatever you want. You're not restricted to, I guess, what is being offered at the time. When you go to the local Blockbuster, right, and being like, oh, okay, what can I rent, right? Like, oh, like the library, as Tiffany mentioned, there's only so many copies available. Whereas in this day and age, in the digital sphere, right, unlimited copies. So there's no waiting in line. There's no bandwidth. There's no like, oh, too many people are playing the game right now, so you have to wait in line to say, no, there's nothing arbitrary like that, which definitely makes sense as we move into a digital space to say, listen, this is just data on a server somewhere. We can stream this out to you. You can download it in some cases, and you can keep it, rent it, use it for however long you want, and then we take the license away, right, whenever you end your subscription, or it leaves the service. And then on the flip side, as Tiffany mentioned, kind of with HelloFresh, knowing what you're gonna get. And I think that's definitely kind of a major thing that's a shift from the past, because I remember when we were younger, buying the newspaper at the grocery store every week and getting those TV program guides, and then having to flip through the TV program guide to see which day of the week, at what time slot is something airing, right? Because that was pre-printed on a weekly basis. And it was kind of not knowing to say, oh, we have this cable service, right? Like, we can watch television, but we don't know what's going to be on television until they print it for the week, right? And so definitely it's this combination of how transparent things have become, and also how convenient these things are to say, when you sign up for that subscription, you know what you're going to get for the most part. I know you might say, oh, Alex, you have to wait until the month comes and then they tell you what you're going to get in your HelloFresh box or whatever. Or you got to wait until the monthly drop for what games are going to be added to Game Pass. But at least you know what's already pre-existing, right? And that's always going to be available to you. And so I think things like that really push the accessibility, and also just, not to say replacement of conventional systems, but obviously, once our generation kind of comes into the majority and is, being a little bit older, it seems like more and more people are going to be able slash more flexible to do these things as opposed to the conventional ways of, right, signing up for your, local TV package or whatnot. But on the flip side of that, right, obviously these subscription services, they're not free. You're paying for these, whether it's on a monthly, quarterly, biannually, annual basis, right? And so obviously valuation or the cost of these things is so important to whether or not, right, you think you're getting your money's worth, right? As is with anything. And so I want to ask, like, for you guys, is it more so on just purely that cost? Like, if you look at something, as Tiffany mentioned, it's like, oh, I can get on this special deal in this case, for $5, a third of a year of Kindle Unlimited, and that's a great value, right? Regardless of how much you read. But also at the same time, you might say, well, if I could get, a trial of YouTube Premium for a year for, let's say, like $30, right? That might potentially be a good value. Is it just purely the value and like monetary cost, or do you also really take into account like the quality of the content, right? Like, do you anticipate slash sign up for something knowing you're going to get certain things? Say like when you sign up for HBO Max, a lot of Warner Brothers movies were coming, day and date, at least last year in 2021 to the service. And do you think people sign up specifically because they knew that was going to happen?
So I have kind of another two sides to this answer. But I remember when Disney Plus came out, I immediately signed up for buy a 2-year subscription of Disney Plus and get the third year free. And I did that like in the summer of 2019. And it was, I thought, 100% worth it, because it was like, give them the cost up front and then you get, this value, right? It literally came out to like $3.50 a month for 3 years. Like if I cost average the whole thing. 2023 November is actually when that my deal is up. Matt, did you also get that deal?
I did, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So no brainer. I knew that was it. Like I was getting it, right? However, I do know that the first month or two when Disney Plus like arrived and was available, I was like, what am I paying for right now? Because there was like a Lady and the Tramp live action film and then like a Anna Kendrick holiday movie. Like I was like, what is going? And then it had like all the old school like animated princess movies and stuff, which I mean, I'm here for that because, we have that on VHS back at mom and dad's, but like clearly like I don't have a VHS player. So if I wanted to watch it, like this is where to watch it. But like I was not in the mood to be watching Mulan.
We were like so desperate for content. We like watched Jeff Goldblum's like TV show, which was like not National great. Geographic. Yeah. And it was like, this could be like a YouTube channel and have the same amount of quality of it. But like, we were just like, well, we're paying for it. Like we've got to watch every single thing that comes out on this service. Yeah, and then like the Marvel shows got postponed to like like January or February of 2020. It just was like the beginnings. I was like, this is a wild situation. However, I do have to say, moving on past the third year of Disney, like I'm going to keep paying for whatever price I'm going to be paying for this, right? So I guess I'll have to figure out if they have a year-long subscription thing to be a smidge cheaper, or if they say they only do month to month, I'll do it. I've enjoyed my current experience with the Disney Plus catalog, and since the price is going to be like what, $8 or $9 a month, if it's month to month or whatever, I think that's still fine and dandy because I'm all about it. My next thing about the value that I really take into consideration, in the throes of my fandom, I never really got into Loot Crate. However, I did do like a year and a half or 2 years of Marvel Collector Core, as well as the DC Legends box. And every month I would get a box of stuff. And it averaged out to like $30 a box. And to be honest, for the fact that I did it I think I did 1 year of the DC box and then 2 years of the Marvel box, that was way too much. I spent way too much money on a Funko Pop and a shirt and like pins
and like a comic book. Like every month I just got like an exclusive Funko Pop and an one of a kind t-shirt. In the beginning I was like way into it. Like the first like box or two I was like, this is it. This is for me. And that's why I signed up for like a year-long commitment. But then I started to realize that physically it was taking up so much space and I just wasn't getting as excited anymore. Alex, you bought me the Wizarding World came out with a subscription box service, and Alex bought me a year for my birthday or Christmas. And listen, I was kind of here for it. Like the Harry Potter stuff was actually like quite good, and there's a lot of stuff that I still have. A handful of items I've like regifted here or there because I was just like, I don't need another notebook or like a fake mirror that like opens into a like something I could put a necklace in. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you gotta hide your secrets.
Yeah, I'm gonna hide my secret. I have a miniature
Secrets of Dumbledore.
a miniature like Irised mirror. Like it's just like all this stuff that I just had, and I was just like in it, and then I was like, no more, please, Alex, just discontinue this, because like for the value, it just didn't feel like a lot, right? And like, why do I need to be spending $30 on items that were pre-chosen for me that I may not have like sought out on my own? You know, I did get a scarf. I did get a cute tie. Like, you got to choose your house, which was actually really cool about the Wizarding box, Matt, because literally every item that was like of a house was always your house.
That's cool.
And I felt like every third box had a unique house item, which I was here for.
Yeah, I feel like cost deals. I'm dealing more and more with the cost of these subscription services the more I go on, because now I'm getting to a point where I'm like, I'm interested in a lot of shows on HBO Max. I'm interested in a lot of stuff on HBO Max. And then you start thinking, okay, well, I'm paying for Disney Plus. I'm paying for Netflix. I have this, I have that.
Amazon Prime.
I have Amazon Prime, which like Amazon Prime I use all the time because I love free shipping. And so, you know, that's just a staple. Like, that's not going anywhere. Spotify
Isn't
Premium,
that wild, though?
because I hate ads, and I also don't have unlimited data on my phone, so I like pre-download a bunch of music when I don't have Wi-Fi access. It's like, I know I need to get that. Like, so those are kind of like my non-negotiables. And then all these like TV services, when I don't really watch too much TV, I'm like, can I really say it's okay to get HBO Max? Which I'm pretty sure I'm going to, but it like, you start seeing it when Netflix is like, oh, we're adding $3 a month. Oh, we're adding $3 more a month. And it's like, chill. You guys need to stop. Like, stop what you're doing and stop increasing all this money. Because, yeah, am I keeping Netflix? Yeah, because Stranger Things comes out in like a couple weeks or whatever it is from now. Like, there is things that I want to watch on Netflix, so I will keep it. But it's going to be more and more of a pain when everyone keeps jacking up prices, because in actuality, I do feel like the quality has increased since Netflix was started. Like, I think
Totally.
Netflix originals, like, it used to be like, yeah, that's good. That's a good movie. That's a good TV show for a Netflix show or for a Netflix movie. That's good. Now, you know, we're seeing Netflix movies go up for Oscar nominations. Like, we are seeing some like true quality.
Except for Six Underground.
Oh yeah. That looked terrible. I don't know why you even watched that.
I blame Tiffany.
But
It's
you know,
fine, I'll
like,
take the blame.
we're starting to see subscription services be actual Oscar contenders. And so I feel like there's quality, and I feel like they've got to pay for it somehow. But I'm a little bit reaching my capacity for how many subscription TV services I can have. Because pretty soon, it's just going to equate to cable, which is what we got rid of.
Can I just
Right.
no, I have something I need to interject. Isn't it wild that for Amazon Prime, we're literally just paying for like the ability to have quick shipping? Like, minus the shows, because obviously, I mean, Amazon has really bulked up their Prime services, but honestly, like if you had told me like 10 years ago, no, 15 years ago that I would pay a service just to have faster shipping, I would have laughed at you guys because we get that option all the time. Whenever I buy something online, they're like, here, like it's $2.99 for shipping. If you want expedited shipping, it's $15.99. And I'm like, get that out of my face. Like I'm not paying extra just to get it in like overnight. I don't know. But then I'm over here with Amazon Prime and I'm like, yeah, take my $120 a year so I can get things in 2 days.
$140 a year.
We actually renewed under the previous price because we renewed early, or like our renewal date is early. So
fantastic. Thanks, Amazon. $120 to you.
Yeah, and then
you're welcome, Bezos.
And then next year we have to pay extra.
Okay. But that's actually a funny thing you bring up. I know with like Prime, right, that you can only do it yearly, right? So the Prime membership is 1 year at a time.
Can't you do monthly?
I think so.
No, I think you can do monthly
okay.
for those folks.
Okay. Well, in any case, I think as Matt mentioned, right, where he's thinking about potentially getting HBO Max or eventually getting HBO Max, and that being just another cable-like subscription service, right, that he's paying on a monthly basis to get these shows. But I think there is that flexibility, right, that unlike how conventional TV was, is the option to pay monthly. And I think that's definitely an important thing to also look at. I know a lot of people out there are probably rolling their eyes. They're like, Alex, I don't have the patience to renew monthly and to immediately cancel it, even though you could do it at the same time and still have your month-long subscription, right, run to the end, and then you don't have to worry about a renewal charge. But I think that flexibility is also super important because when shows come out, right, and let's say you don't have the service, you can just sign up for that 1 month, right, and watch whatever came out, or at least wait until it's fit or completely aired and then sign up for the month, right, and just be able to pay basically one price to watch the whole thing. Because I know based on previous experience, in particular with HBO Max, I waited to redeem a free monthly trial where when King Kong and the Mortal Kombat movie and I think one other thing was airing on HBO Max, and I waited at that perfect overlap in order to watch all of these things back to back to back within my free monthly trial. And there was like, obviously, I didn't have to pay anything, but at least there was a lot of value there because I was able to watch all these things kind of overlapping. And so I think definitely people probably should be more flexible to just, you don't have to, like, you look at the monthly price and you're like, well, think about it. If you pay 1 month and you're able to watch like 5 different shows, I think that's a lot of value there. And it just seems like people just get into that rut of saying, I don't want to have to deal with monthly subscriptions. It's annoying, right? Especially when you forget that something's running and then you actually pay for another month. But at least, you'll eventually cancel it and you're not paying for these things a year at a time, especially if you don't anticipate them running, right? Or them having enough content for you to come back over a year's time. So definitely, I think that is the major draw point. And I would, not to say I'm encouraging everyone under the sun, all these massive corporations to move towards these subscription models, but I definitely think that at least for the people that are willing to put in the effort, there's more value there, right? Because we're able to be flexible. I can choose to buy 1 month of HBO Max, then cancel it. I can choose to buy 1 month of Netflix and then cancel it. Same thing with Game Pass too. It's like, if when a game's coming out, you don't have to get Game Pass until that game's out, and then you can just pay that 1 month, play it, finish it, and it's like you played the game on a discount, even if that's the only game you played.
Yeah, in that vein, honestly, I kind of almost see it as like a rental fee. Like, you can go to Redbox and get a movie for like $2 or overnight, one overnight, right? And then you just watch it and you return it. I mean, we all grew up with Blockbuster way back when, pay $4 to rent a new movie for 2 days and then send it back. So really with the subscription services, like, yeah, like I'm going to pay $10 for this month and just plan to watch the 3 shows that I want to watch and then be canceled. One other thing that I do really appreciate though are those good deals, right? Like, I'm pretty sure like Black Friday and even like maybe even on Amazon Prime Day, like some of these services will be like, we have a deal, get like, get a year of HBO for or like get like 6 months of HBO for $30 or something. I don't know, like $5 a month, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they have deals like that. So I think I'm going to be a little bit more conscientious and look into those. Because I too am interested in HBO, but like Matt said, like I don't want to be beholden to like 14 different subscription services. And like also give me the deal to do 1 year at a discounted price. Maybe that's just enough for me. For example, I just signed up for Book of the Month, which apparently has been going on for decades. I had no idea, but apparently Book of the Month must have rebranded in the last like 10 years or something to be a little bit more modern. But Book of the Month has been going on since like 100 years or something. But anyway, this service is like every month the company chooses 5 to 7 books for you to pick, and then I pick, and then they send it to me. What I find is really awesome is that the year-long subscription model, the price is a smidge cheaper than if you were to do month to month. So I'm fortunate enough to kind of, go all in on it. So I have a year's worth of books. I think one of the most unique things about this particular service, though, is that you can suspend your month. So, for example, if the next month in June, they show me 5 books and I don't care for any of them, I can decide I'm not going to get a book this month. And so I can like hold my month and
That's
then
pretty
use
cool.
my credit for next month. Yeah, honestly, I was like, this is revolutionary. Why can't other subscription services be more consumer friendly with that, right? Like I don't want to do HBO. I'm going to freeze my HBO for June because I have a lot going on at home, and then I can't watch anything. I'll resume it. Don't charge my card, and then come July, I'm all in. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like I'm playing
Like, that would
Persona
be so
5
nice.
Royal now, so I'm not going to be playing Game Pass. Pause Game Pass for the next
Yeah.
30, 60 days.
Yeah. Honestly, like that would be
really
so
cool.
nice.
Yeah.
But so far I've only seen it with Book of the Month, and it's been really fun. For me, it's the idea of this particular subscription service that's reminiscent of Loot Crate or the Harry Potter box, is that each month I get a new surprise that I have no idea what it is. So that's kind of like a fun new feeling for me.
So I want to ask this, and this is on the topic of, I guess, a lot of controversy that's going on with Netflix. So, rumors are Netflix, right, obviously has, in recent earnings reports, has reported a lot of downturn in terms of revenue, and some of that they contribute to, the, I guess, quote unquote failed shows, as Tiffany mentioned before, of just shows being canceled, but also quote unquote, account sharing, password sharing, reducing profits. And in response to this, apparently Netflix is planning later in 2022 to release a cheaper tier of subscription, but with ads. And so my question for you guys is, does this make sense in terms of, if you look at the content, right? And obviously, hopefully this doesn't change the quality of the content that's on the service, but when you look at, all of these subscription services across the board, should there be a cheaper tier, whether it's on a monthly or yearly basis, but that comes with more caveats, I guess, built in? So something like how Netflix is doing to say, hey, listen, we know we're raising the price for what our quote unquote normal service is to maybe prices that you might not be comfortable with. But if you're willing to watch ads, right, which is, the very, original kind of monetization efforts that companies have employed to keep costs down, would you be willing to pay for some of these services in case you didn't already have it for the cheaper price?
I think having options and choices for consumers is always the best plan. In the United States, we have such a wide range of, like, I don't know the right term. We have a wage gap, basically. Like, we have a very large and extensive wage gap. So, I might be comfortable with paying for 2 years worth of Disney Plus at one go for a 3-year commitment. That was like maybe $200 or something. But I know that there are others that don't have that luxury. I mean, there are people that pay month to month on like Game Pass or PS Plus because it's more economical for them to be able to put aside, $15 a month, for because of how they get paid or something, instead of throwing down $60 for the whole year. So I think that the opportunity for new customers to come in on a lower tier that are okay with ads is a great way to kind of involve more and a wider audience.
Yeah, I think it's good. Like, cuz some people, that may be the only option that they can do. Like, we are jacking up these prices, and like the three of us, like we're very blessed. We're like a $3 addition to Netflix a month is not going to be a difference between you putting food on your table. Like, we definitely, between the three of us, do not know what that's like, but there's plenty of people in our own communities, wherever we're living, that is something that they have to consider. They do have multiple mouths to feed, with the rise of basically everything going up to, not just Netflix, but food, chicken, rice, anything, going up. Gas. Yeah. So like it is.
Chicken and rice is not food, apparently.
What's that?
Matt is just being more specific.
I was just being examples.
I like how you listed out food and then chicken, rice, then gas, and I'm like, I guess chicken and rice ain't food.
No, it's food. I eat it all the time. But that's always great options. My concern is potentially this will. I don't know what this is going to be like. I think that they've kind of been getting more and more to like nickel and diming us with on Netflix. Like, oh, okay, we don't have great resolution on any of our videos. We have the capability of going to 4K if you like for an additional $4 a month. And it's like, what? Like, what do you mean? Like, just give me 4K and just give it a price, but it's kind of like them trying to like upcharge. And that's been going on for years. And it kind of annoys me about Netflix's business model. But, annoyances aside, I'm glad there's going to be a cheaper option, because there's cheaper options for a lot of other things. I think Hulu for sure has a cheaper option. I think HBO Max might have ads as part of a different tier. I might be wrong on that. I thought I read something like that. But yeah, hey, it's not a new thing, and maybe it'll be good for certain people. For me, I hate ads. The reason why I stream is to not see ads. So I'll probably be the sucker.
Do you have the Hulu Disney combo pack?
I do not. I definitely. I do not personally have Hulu, but I have access to Hulu. So.
Yeah.
They do not pay for ads though, or they do not pay for ad free. So, yeah.
Oh, so you're stuck with ads.
So I'm stuck with ads. Yeah, but I don't really utilize Hulu much because I don't know. Their catalog doesn't really
do it for you.
Doesn't do it for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you, because I've been on the fence about the Hulu situation for, with the Disney Plus having to re-sub for the price at the end of the year. I'm like, do I get the Hulu Disney bundle pack? Mm-hmm. I'm trying to evaluate that. But I've lived this long without Hulu. Like, I don't have access to Hulu. I don't pay for Hulu. I just don't Hulu. Actually, the way I do Hulu actually is where I make appointments with friends who have Hulu, and then we cooperatively watch together.
Can't you do that with other streaming services? Can you do that with Disney?
No. I literally mean I physically go to my friends' homes and I sit there, and we, as an activity together, we watch whatever the Hulu thing is. And it's honestly, it helps me connect with people, and it's fun. Occasionally, same with HBO. I'm like, I don't have HBO, but I have, a number of friends that do. Mm-hmm. So then it's like, if I want to watch a movie that's on HBO, we're like, hey, do you want to watch it together? And they're like, sure, let's do it.
So I also subscribe to YouTube TV. That I do as kind of like, I pay for like a family plan for it. And it goes to a bunch of my extended family and my sister and everything. So like a lot of people benefit from that. So even if I don't utilize it much, like someone is utilizing it. But HBO actually, they added their services last weekend to YouTube TV only for like 3 days only. But the great thing about YouTube TV is that you can tape shows and movies that come on. And so I taped like a ton of the DC movies that were on. Like I taped like Wonder Woman and the new Batman. Like, so I have all that stuff taped at the ready, so I can like finally catch up and see how terrible Wonder Woman was for myself.
Wonder Woman wasn't bad. Oh, you're talking about
The second
84.
one. 84, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, also, the whole concept of you saying that you taped it really confuses me as a streaming service.
Yeah.
I don't understand that.
Because it's basically, it's very similar to a cable model. It's just cheaper. And you have like video on demand. So like certain things, like I'm rewatching all the Marvel movies from start to finish, and Spider-Man movies are not on Disney Plus. But I can go into YouTube TV and type in Spider-Man, and it's like, oh, that played on this random TV network at like 4 a.m. 6 weeks ago. Do you want to watch that? And it's like, yeah, I do. And so like you can tape things and like save it for later.
Wow.
Yeah. So good. I really like YouTube TV. They have a really killer app too, which definitely goes into me thinking about quality, not just quality of the service and like what they provide, but if you have a killer app, like YouTube TV has a killer app, Netflix has a good app. Hulu, I hate the user interface on my TV. It's just like so arduous. Amazon Prime Video, same way. Like a super like terrible UI. Like they have not put in a ton of cash. Like none of Bezos's money is in Prime Video. But it really does change like your perspective on what quality you're actually seeing.
Yeah, I do have to say the Disney Plus app, I can never figure out how I can cast something from my phone app to a TV, or if I can. Like the Disney Plus app could use a little bit of work, in my opinion.
So Matt brings up YouTube a lot, and I think this leads kind of very well into my next question about, should every service have some form of free tier? And you might be thinking, well, they do a lot of free trials, like monthly trials, yearly trial, like whatever, like if you get lucky, several months at a time, right? And so it seems like that's always been how these streaming services or subscription services try to get new people in, is saying you can just redeem this code, that expires by a certain date, but get like 1 month of our service for free, right? As if you paid a month. But leaning towards how Netflix is going to that cheaper tier with ads, should every service, kind of similar to how YouTube just operates right now, just have a baseline, this is free, but it's completely ad ridden, or maybe it's a very small selection of shows, so it's not even the entire catalog, but you could say like, oh, you go to Netflix, you can watch the first season of Stranger Things for free. Yes, it's riddled with ads, but it's also only the first season. If you want seasons 2 through 4, you have to sign up for an actual like subscription plan. Like, do you think that is something that maybe, and we're not economists here, I haven't actually looked into any analytics to be like, maybe there's a reason why they've never done this, but do you think at this point, because content has matured enough, right, like we're decades into this type of system, that there should be some sort of baseline that maybe encourages people to get more into it, or at least provides a more affordable way for people to get into it?
So interestingly enough, I'm pretty sure during the pandemic, Netflix did something like this very briefly. They had if you go to netflix.com, they had a very, very small catalog that you could watch for free. And then if you wanted to watch more, you had to subscribe. And in that situation, I think like it had like one movie that may have been in a trilogy on there. So you could watch the first movie for free, but then you had to get more. TV show wise, I don't know if it had all of season 1 or only part of season 1 of something, but I think it did that. Honestly, I think it's in their purview to not do this, but in a way, a lot of them do free services like this. I remember growing up, as Matt even said, that HBO did 3 days of free HBO on YouTube TV. Like, I remember Stars being free for a weekend, HBO being free for a weekend, with our our parents' cable service. So like they do this, but I really don't think that they need to. Mainly because I think social media is such a strong word of mouth that if a lot of people who are paying for it are raving about something, the news gets out there, and that's enough advertisement for many people.
Right, but I think this kind of where my question comes into play is also just testing the service, right? Because I know, and this is kind of my concern with things like Game Pass or things just like with cloud gaming in general, where you know what is on the service, and you might say, I know, Game of Thrones seasons like 1 through 5 are good, barring whatever those other seasons they release. Who knows? Did they release extra seasons? Apparently that's what people talk about. But what if you just don't know if your internet can handle it? I mean, not everyone has great service, and so even as Matt was suggesting too, you might not even be able to stream 1080p, right? Full HD. Maybe you struggle to get 360, 480. And so it's that thing of saying, even if you have the free weekends like they did in the past, I feel like just having a basic, and in those cases, right, you need to be aware that that's happening and tune in. But is it potentially also just helpful to say there's a free version of this that exists permanently? And yes, maybe it is just the basic bare bones, like 1 or 2 episodes of like one show or something. But at least that's more of a proof of concept also for you to say, I'm going to try and stream HBO Max right now, or I'm going to try and stream, Amazon Prime Video right now. But then you watch it and then you're like, oh God, my infrastructure is not there. I cannot do this with what I currently have. And so that's where I'm kind of coming with it to say, that's not necessarily proving the quality or value of the content, but also can you do it in the first place?
I feel like that's where a lot of like free trials come in, because I feel like most services have a free trial period, even for something like Blue Apron or any other meal prep box. Like your first box is free, or hey, you've got a 7-day trial, maybe for that. I feel like it's very, very limited. I think the other thing that you're talking about, like having a small library that's free for anyone to try, I think that would not really be for that purpose. That would just be kind of like your first hit's free. You know what I mean? It's like dealing drugs or something. You know what I mean? It's like the first hit's on me, get you addicted to this show, you'll be back. Like I think it is just direct like consumer like manipulation of trying to get them in the door, because once you get them in the door, they see all users as cash cows, because it takes way too much effort to cancel a subscription. You know what I mean? Like the
Tell
people,
my gym service that.
yeah, exactly. Like for the longest time I had 2 gym memberships, and one was in a city I didn't even live in. And it's like, why did I do that? And that's just what it is. Like I'm a cash cow. So is everybody else.
Also, one could say that there's unlimited free trials as long as you are willing to put in the work and make a new email for everyone. So that's all I have to say.
Theoretically.
All right, fair enough. That's true. Theoretically, morally questionable. Theoretically correct. So with that, we're kind of getting long in the tooth here, so I'll end this with my final question for my co-host here. If you could only recommend one subscription service that people should sign up to across everything that you've participated in, that you're aware of, that you know the value of, that you think other people can also enjoy the value of, only one, regardless of what type of subscription it is, what do you recommend for our listeners?
That is an excellent question. And honestly, I'm going to have to say Disney Plus. Like so right now our Netflix is a part of our phone bill, our phone plan. Like our phone carrier pays for our Netflix, or it's incorporated in like a great price. If they were,
I don't see how this is related to Disney.
No,
Plus,
this is what I'm saying.
Okay.
If they're like, we're going to drop the Netflix. And if I had to if budget that out, I would, and I didn't have, I would suddenly have to pay for it. I think I'd be okay with just Disney Plus. I'd be okay with it. I'm a huge Marvel fangirl. Audience knows. You boys here know. They are committed to bringing new shows to Disney Plus on a rotating base, like relatively consistent rotating basis. You know, they just started filming production and filming the new Ahsoka show. Obi-Wan Kenobi's supposed to come out at the end of May. There's things coming. Have I loved everything that they've came up with? No, but they're at least trying and experimenting with new things. So I would say Disney Plus is a subscription for people who want a entertainment streaming service.
I feel like I have to pick Game Pass in this moment. Like, to me, it's, if you're thinking what gives me the most quality, what gives me the most bang for my money, Game Pass is it. Like, Phil Spencer and Microsoft, they have bought a whole slew of companies, a whole slew of studios, and is it a monopoly? Who knows? But they're going to get away with it, and it's fine, because guess what? They're going to pop out a bunch of games.
The FTC knows.
they're gonna pump out a bunch of games, and those are going to be first party games, and they're going to come to the streaming service for no extra cost. Like, you pay your $15 a month and you get all those things, but you also get historical games too. So it's definitely something that, if you're bored, you should have something for you. And every holiday, you know that at least whatever is first party to Xbox, you'll have that holiday. You won't have to worry about getting something new. And honestly, I play a lot of indies on Xbox, because a lot of indies are getting great deals because they're taking the risk away from these small independent developers. And a lot of these indies are coming day one to Game Pass. And so, for me, it's an easy choice.
Alex.
Great recommendations. Yes, Tiffany.
What is your recommendation?
My recommendation.
What's yours?
Unlike you, I have to recommend Netflix. And this is mostly because, being able to enjoy a lot of the content that's been on Netflix over the past, basically decade at this point. I feel like we've had Netflix for a very long time. I think it just has the most variety. And I think that's really what comes down to it for me, is that, you have things ranging from live action, animation. They have a lot of anime, especially more recently. They're including a lot more anime on the service. A lot of foreign films, with subtitles both, and also dubbed in some cases, like Squid Game. And I think it's that variety and also the accessibility of the content is really what, to me, makes it seem like a lot of value, because especially even if you're not there for everything that they have on the platform currently, I think there might be something that you might end up finding somewhere else, right? And it's surprising to see the things that they're able to pull onto that service. And even though, like you said, a lot of the shows that they end up running do get canceled, there are a lot of shows that they do continue, things like Stranger Things that Matt's excited for, right? They've been continuing that over all these years. Things like Money Heist, right? That has gotten so many of its seasons on Netflix that Matt also enjoys. And also for things like me personally, just a lot of Korean dramas that, at least at this point, I don't know of too many other services that are out there. And I do know some, but I won't name them here because I don't know the quality of the content of those services. But that Netflix is one of the few mainstream services that offers stuff like that. And so I think it's the combination of all those things that, for me at least, I see a lot of value in it. So in case we were to have to pay for it a la carte, I think I would definitely probably put my foot forward and cover that cost. But with that brings us to the end of episode 70. So I hope you guys enjoyed these recommendations we just gave you for these subscription services. And I hope you enjoyed the conversation overall about services in general. If you want to write in, let us know the stuff you enjoy or maybe disagree with what we said here today. Write in the comments below, or write into us at Twitter or our email, which are included in the description. I'm not going to read it out because, in case you subscribe to our channel or our podcast, you'll see these on the regular. Thanks to Grandmaster Doug for our music as always. And until next time, take care.
We were friends, right? That is an excellent question.